Greetings, geeks, and welcome to episode 671 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I'm today going to be talking to you about Dune, Elephant Evolution, Dune, Theranos, Dune, and thank God I can do this with Chris DeBona.
Hey.
And Rob Roseboom.
Are we going to talk about Dune?
There might be Dune. Like
Dune.
Yes. It's a thing, turns out. It's a movie.
Is that part of like the Transformers extended universe?
Yeah. Yeah, but Optimus Prime looks way different this time.
Yeah, right.
And Jazz eats like whole like giant machinery, giant tanks in the sand.
And instead of turning into vehicles, they just turn into sand. All of them.
Everything.
It's just all sand.
Just sand.
So it's really hard to tell who the bad guy is because it's just all sand.
Yeah, the Allspark just turns them back into their primordial elements.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so sand,ண்ட் some iron oxides, you know, bauxite.
It all checks out.
Definitely bauxite. You know,
Bauxite.
because if there's something that Transformers fans the world over, as well as Dune fans have in common, it's the love of the development of bauxite into aluminum.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
The history of metallurgy is a fascinating,
heads, you know,
fascinating subject. But you know what? There's not a lot of on Dune, the color blue.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Well,
you know,
except for their eyes.
Oh, that's true. It's just that one. Just those. Everybody gets two blues, and that's it. But
Yeah,
that's going to be the same as the real world, I guess.
Yeah, Dutch paint maker Axco Nobel is running out of ingredients to make some shades of blue. It's pretty interesting.
I've always been weirdly fascinated by pigments and like the history of them, and the like how like a lot of Renaissance trade is like mixed up in the discovery of it and the shipping of it. There's a lot of really weird stories to just like make colors. It's the visual equivalent of spices.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is there is this line in the thing. Here shows tab. In addition to the bluish hue, Nobel is having trouble sourcing the tin plate used to make the cans to hold it. Like, speaking of metal, I mean,
that's true.
That's fascinating. What is going on, world?
We live in a chaotic time. The supply chain, man. It's all about the supply chain.
Supply chains.
It's all messed up.
So hot right now.
It's all cryptocurrency and supply chains.
Yeah, this is the thing. All the cryptocurrency people are like, nobody has any problem getting cryptocurrency because it's global. And it's like, yeah, but you can't do anything with it. Can you buy blue? No. You can't buy blue for nothing.
No, but you can get all the orange or all the red. You can convert it into green.
Can you?
I mean, in theory, I guess I assume that's what the exchanges do, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
It's never been something I've tried. Did you see this is an old one, but Goodnight Dune?
That's a really old one, right?
Goodnight Dune,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the years old.
Yeah, it's ancient, but you know, it's been making the rounds again, and it's just charming and well done. And
Floating Baron.
Given that everything in my life in the last 3 or 4 days has been Dune related, it was nice to see this one show back up in the internets. And for those of you on the podcast, we're scrolling through a visual representation of Goodnight Dune, a parody of Goodnight Moon, and it's really done lovingly. Clearly, whoever did this either read this book as a child or had it read to them, or reads this book to a child.
Yeah,
because it is every frame is just filled with loving tributes to both Dune and to Goodnight Moon. So that's charming.
And a Bene Gesserit which whispering they tried and died.
And a maker hooks and a Chris knife and a bowl and water full of life. Good night, two moons. Good night, Shai Hulud, bursting out of the Dune. That just made me happy.
Yeah, it's a sweet thing, honestly.
Made with love. Chris, I think you're the one that shared the artificial muscles video.
Oh, I just thought it was cool, man.
It is neat.
Yeah, so yeah, it's basically somebody rigged up a hand using, soft silicons and the rest, and then just had a bunch of artificial little pulleys and muscles doing the
It's the translucence that makes it
it's really cool,
really creepy and kind of awesome.
It looks very kind of Westworld in
Yeah.
that they use that sort of color of
That
silicone.
white neoprene or whatever that is.
Yeah, and like since you need the opposing resilience
Oh, it's got
for
wrist
muscles.
twists
Oh,
too.
yeah, it's got
Wow.
everything. Really something.
Welcome to the Hall of Presidents. Let me punch you in the face.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't even know who did this. It was like some group, I'm sure.
Is
But,
that
like-
all? Those look like hydraulic tubes. Is
They
this
do.
all hydraulic? Because you can see the brass fittings at the end.
Yeah. Let's see now.
You can do it. Lift that weight. Oof.
Or I guess air. It could be air as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I'm just picturing, someone getting their artificial arm caught in something, and then all the red
Right.
hydraulic fluid
Yep.
gets is flying out. People are like, oh, you're bleeding. It's like, it's fine. It's just hydraulic fluid.
Given all the terrible movies that I've been watching this weekend, and you guys recommended to me some stinkers, but there's been a lot of gore.
What? Un momento,
Yes.
por favor. We've recommended stinkers to you.
Oh, for sure.
I can think of like 2 max, but your entire oeuvre, your entire history, your childhood
for sure.
is a box of VHS tapes labeled "Burn Before Watching."
But yet somehow I watched them
terrible.
like 50 times. No, this weekend I watched Humanoids from the Deep.
Oh,
I didn't recommend
yes.
that.
That's a Rob one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a video store rental favorite of mine as a young man.
That one's rough.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I told you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about mutated salmon.
I'm not like
Oh,
I don't
that's that
care.
one, yeah.
It wasn't as bad as Without Warning, which I think was a Chris recommendation.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't an official recommendation
Oh.
for the movie night. That was just I thought it was decent in the 80s,
Yeah, you're wrong.
So you didn't like it?
It's rough. The worst part about Without Warning is like the 20 minutes in the middle of the movie where they've all had plenty of warning and they just sit in the room and argue about what they're gonna do despite having had a lot of warning.
No, that wasn't me. No, mine was the virus movie. This is something else.
Oh well, I watched it.
You're watching a dog one, right?
Without Warning? No, that was it was like a 1980 aliens. They shoot these starfish suction cup things, and it's got Jack Palance in it.
Oh yeah, that's not me. No.
Me either.
Well, I don't know who somebody recommended it to me, so it got on the list. Maybe it came from the internet. There's a picture of Snoop Dogg in full Mandalorian armor. The rumor was that he was on the Mandalorian set for season 3, but I think that was actually just them filming a video, right? Like it wasn't him actually.
Like a Snoop video?
Yeah, like
No, he's using the for sizzle. That's what he's doing.
For sizzle. I like that
Gizzle needs some for sizzle.
I like that they gave him purple though. It's not a color used very often in Star Wars outside of Mace Windu.
Yeah, Mace Windu's lightsaber.
I think Zem might have been purple in episode 2, but I don't think people like to think too hard about Zem or episode 2. Not that you guys would care about it all that much, but a podcast that I listen to is called the Star Wars Music Minute, and they just started A New Hope. They did Last Jedi, but they do 5-minute chunks of just the music in Star Wars. And it's really neat. So if you ever want to listen to a 30-minute discussion on the Fox fanfare, and then a discussion about orchestras and tuning pitches, that's a good podcast.
So the movie was Warning Sign, not Without Warning. So maybe I thought, oh, that's a good movie because I thought it was that movie, but not Without Warning isn't the movie. So, but Warning Sign's decent.
All right. Well, I guess that one's probably in my queue somewhere
I
too.
think it's in my Plex. You should enjoy it. But what was I going to tell you? Oh yeah. So I guess if you play Dark Side of the Moon and A New Hope, they sync up exactly, Rob.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We did Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz in college for sure.
Yeah. Were you completely sober?
Definitely not.
All right.
Elephants, they're evolving to have no tusks.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
things.
It's one of those
rapid selective breeding.
things. yeah, it's evolution that you can actually see. So, famously, the biggest one is the moths that change color during the
coal burning
Industrial
years. Yeah.
Revolution. And now deer have a similar thing where their bodies handle projectiles inside of them differently because they've been hunted for so long. Their bodies will actually like form a cyst and expel a projectile caught in
Really?
their body sometimes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and they also have a bumper indentation shaped place.
They haven't quite got that
the
far.
hit. Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're finding now elephants.
Deer.
The pressure for poaching and ivory trade has been so tough that the elephants that haven't developed tusks, which were always a small portion of them, were the ones that got to stick around. So now a larger proportion of elephants just aren't producing tusks anymore because we've shot so many. Isn't that wonderful?
That's depressing as hell. On the other hand, I think I'm the only person that I know of the Michigan crew that hasn't hit a deer at least once.
Yeah, I've hit
at
least 2.
I hit and rolled my car on the highway.
I do a brake slam for a deer at least every few weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, I worry about it. We have them on the island, so yeah.
Okay. There's this new this Theranos story is weird.
So, oh goodness. Literally, what?
No thanks. Thanks.
Just say no thanks.
Spam. Buy your Uni pizza oven.
I already did. Damn it. As reported by NBC, the incredibly relatable juror claimed they did Sudoku to occupy themselves, but could definitely listen and retain information from the trial. No, they can't. I'm very fidgety. I need something to do with my hands. So I'm at home. I crochet while I'm watching or listening to TV. Crochet is not the same as Sudoku.
Right. You're doing math. You're actively triggering part of your brain.
You're not paying attention to Geeks in Space. You're playing Sudoku.
Right.
It's like if one of us started up a game right now of Catan or Sudoku or whatever it is we do to fill our time on the toilet, we would not be able to do this.
Can you guys see that? I thought the camera was off. I'm actually playing Battleship against myself right now, which is very hard.
You sunk my battleship.
So yeah, like,
sure.
How would you think this was okay?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I have a lot of people who will tell me, and it's something I've drilled into the kids. I'm like, multitasking is pretty much bullshit.
Yep.
Yes.
You have to realize there's a lot of people like to say they're multitasking. They're just not paying
attention. Just ignoring you.
Yeah.
They're catching a third of your words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Science has proved that they are wrong.
It's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think I do need a fidget with my hands.
Fidgeting is different.
Yeah.
Fidget spinners, that stuff, different.
But the thing about like crochet and knitting, and I don't know how to do it. I think the physical act would be nice, but my understanding is that you're basically just counting over and over and over again. And I don't think that I could maintain like keeping track of all the numbers. But maybe it's not as hard as I think it would be.
Yeah, I think that crochet is somewhere in between. But I still when someone's crocheting in a meeting or a talk, I admit I wonder if they're really paying attention.
And don't we all deserve to give Chris undivided attention like he gives to us, never interrupting at all?
I'm sorry, what?
Were you talking?
I'm looking at this. Well, so this is actually a really good example. This is a really good example. No, because what I'm doing is I'm operating the dumb, Dr. Pepper ad over here, right? So often while you guys are talking about a topic, I'll bring up the next topic in a tab.
Multitasking.
And I'm shutting off the damn. Join our mailing list. Here, have a papa. Blah 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 blah. I protect you guys.
I know you're our shield.
And then you'll say something like Shai Hulud, and I'll be like, I love Shai Hulud. And I'll come back. So yeah, I can't multitask. I should set up all these tabs ahead of time. But I got a life, I got a job, I got kids, I got a wife. You jerks.
So this story that you have queued up right here, what is most amazing to me is that a guy that tall can have pants. I mean, just think about how much material must have gone into building that guy's pants. I mean, he's absolutely huge.
It's a scale model, Rob. It's not real.
Oh.
I think he's standing on something.
Maybe it's forced perspective.
Yeah, he's on a ladder.
Well, I was more thinking he was on like one of the roads, or you know.
A step ladder. So this is he built a $24 million miniature replica of Canada.
So this title is awful.
Okay.
He built sections of Toronto. He's built sections of all kinds of different cities. They're all huge, absolutely massive. And he has a wish list of other cities he wants to build models of. This is, like, I don't have the ability, the time, or the money to do this, but it is interesting that someone does today.
Is he doing this purely as an art venture, or is this like a commercial thing?
This is a rich dude, and this is his
very
hobby.
rich dude.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's way better than just making pens.
And I bet he has the best BattleTech games at his house. I'm willing to bet.
Right?
Yeah.
He's probably got one of those D&D campaigns with all the little models, but it's all built by himself.
Yeah.
You gotta step into the dungeon, baby. It's a neat one. That's a good one. Again, for the podcast audience, you should look at the pictures. This guy's really doing it. I guess my general, like, I'm not particularly interested in miniature models for the sake of miniature models, but I love miniature models for film use. I'm obsessed with that, and I mean, this guy's got the skills. Look at that.
Brinkishgemeyer hired architects, electricians, mechatronics specialists, sculptors, painters, digital artists. Wow.
So the Colorado hiker story. This is pretty accurate, right? Who submitted it?
I did.
Take it.
So yeah, this person was lost on the trail. They went off trail because for whatever reason they thought it was a great idea. Search party was sent out, and they kept calling the cell phone to try to see if they could contact them, try to figure out where they were. And the hiker got the calls, but didn't recognize the number, so they didn't answer. Because, I'm lost out in the woods, but that might be a spammer.
Probably.
So.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'd probably answer the call and then, like, ask for help.
You'd think. Evidently, they didn't think they were in that big of trouble because they were, only missing a day. So yeah, the story is a little thin on exactly why the person wouldn't answer the phone.
Well, but also
they didn't recognize the number.
Okay, but if they have the phone, then and the phone is on and capable of answering calls, then theoretically can't they just call somebody and, like, doesn't every phone made in the last 15 years just have, like, a GPS? Like, here's my location.
You would think, right?
All right. Then this dude was fine.
Okay, so I'd like to bring an alternative interpretation of these events.
All right.
I believe, first of all, LCSAR is very close to LCARS. I believe he was a secret time-traveling Star Trek Federation member.
It's possible.
Okay. He was helping them, get some element or save a whale or something.
He needed cadmium or blue. He needed pigments for blue dye.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's no blue dye.
There's no blue dye to make your blue interfaces. That's why there's so little blue in an LCARS interface. It's all like oranges and purples.
There's plenty of blue in LCARS. But... Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I suspect this guy was, what's the word I'm looking for?
High?
Stoned. Utterly stoned.
He was out in the woods,
like,
syncing
I'm
up.
having a good time. He's eating protein bars. He's like, I got a fucking space blanket. I don't know. I don't want no car insurance.
I ain't going
need
home.
An extended warranty.
If I go home, my wife is going to make me do dishes.
This
Yeah,
dude
he's
was
like,
stoned.
I'll be straight in the morning. I'll just go and find some breakfast. I don't want people bugging me right now. I'm talking to a
He's like,
chipmunk.
there's no bears here,
Talking to a chipmunk.
So I suspect it was that, or honestly, he was fine, and his phone was off, and he just didn't care, and it's like,
Yeah.
And then this is how people die while hiking. This is how people get lost while doing backcountry skiing, is they get so into what they're doing, they lose track of time, lose track of where they are, and they realize, oh, it's a little colder than I thought, and that's it.
Then I'm dead.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you don't think about dying of hypothermia someplace where it's 60 overnight, but you can.
Yep.
So
the elements are kind of harsh, man.
Yeah.
And I don't see any soft rocks to lay your head on.
He probably forgot to bring his still tent.
It was really a buzzkill.
Still suit.
His still tent.
Yeah, it's true.
So this is the last one that I've got on the list before we can just go all into talking about Dune. Chris, did you watch Dune yet?
No.
Oh, then we'll have to hold back. But Dune did do better.
I know everything about Dune.
I know you do.
No surprises,
Do you know about the worms, Chris?
Shahulud. So they have anybody who has good a voice as Stilgar in 1984 Dune? That's my question. Or was it all gravelly Theranos talk?
Nope. Well, okay, so they actually made more money than they were expecting. They beat the box office expectations, and they say they got streamed more than a bunch of pretty popular movies this year.
Yeah, like Justice League,
it's just, man, Warner Brothers, I think, screwed themselves over with this one, because what they clearly should have done is just bet that it would make enough money and shot the sequel at the same time. Now they got to wait like 3 years to shoot the sequel if this does enough money. They lose a whole bunch of money resetting stuff up. When they were already in production, they could have saved themselves a ton of cash, and they just need to have a little faith, a little bit. I think.
They should have Back to the Future 2 3'd it.
They screwed up the DC universe so bad that I think they're so gun shy.
Yeah.
They're making stupid decisions. But yeah, because this obviously needs a sequel, right?
Yeah.
So there you are.
So, well, I got to see it last night.
Did you in a theater?
In a theater, we did the thing where we rent the theater, and we had, I think, 16 of our besties' friends come.
Flown out for that shit.
Now, Rob, we were sad you didn't make the drive, but man, it's like a 60-minute drive for you.
He's going back and forth to Grand Rapids, dude.
Yeah, I had other stuff to do last night.
I get it. But I'm really, really, really glad that I got to see this one in a movie theater. It's one of those things that, like, I feel like Shang-Chi would have been fine for me to watch at home, but this one, this deserves some movie theater. And so I was really glad to see it.
There are certain movies that I feel that way, and they're hardly ever action movies, though. Like, there are things like Empire of the Sun is a different movie to watch in a movie theater than at your house.
Yeah. Christy McNichol's The Pirate Movie. Yeah.
With stuff blowing up and giant monsters, I mean, that's all great on a giant screen, but, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. So I thought it was fantastic. I went in there with
a chip on your shoulder.
I figured it'd be okay. But okay, so here's the thing: is that I didn't think that the Blade Runner sequel that Denis did was all that. Like, I thought it was fine, but like it had cool stuff, but it just didn't quite click for me. I thought that this was really, really, really well done. It was so much. I'm so glad that we watched the Lynch version a few weeks ago. Because they almost beat for beat take all the same things from the first like 2/3 of the movie before it goes into super flashback zone. Like almost all of those same scenes are there and more or less the same, except they all make sense. And like you understand what's happening and all the motivations are clear.
Yeah. Except they're shot better, the special effects better, and the decisions in making them are better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like it all worked. They like, you know, I guess they only had Zendaya for a couple of days, and that shows. But I mean, the way the story was structured, that was fine.
Yeah.
But it was I kind of wanted to see what I wanted a little bit more at that end. But the a couple things I just wanted to say. The ornithopters were awesome.
For sure.
I loved how all of the sand when the worms were moving behaved like with that liquefaction thing that sand can do. Like the sand felt like water.
Like the physics of what would happen if something that large was moving through that medium are real. It's like when I was living up north and you see these freighters go by and see just how much water they displace, how much how the river will drain, sort of will go down a couple feet and go up a couple of feet. It just gives you an idea of how massive this thing is. And the worms do that. So I thought that was a very cool touch.
I didn't mind, Rob, you had mentioned that you felt that Timothy Chalamet felt a little emo, and I kind of get where you're coming from there, but also, like, I feel like you kind of wanted him to start that way, and I feel like, you know, you'd maybe get to pay that off if they ever get to make a sequel, like, make him a little tougher.
Yeah.
I also didn't, I wanted him to take his name, but they show the mouse, but I don't think he ever identifies himself with that title.
Yeah.
And actually, they show the mouse a lot. There's like 3 or 4 separate shots, and I don't think they did that at all in the Lynch movie, did they?
No, they don't talk about it at all.
He describes it, but he does. I don't think they visually show the mouse.
In the sci-fi interpretation of Dune, the Sci-Fi Network.
Well, that's when they have 3 mice in a trench coat.
They have
playing Paul.
No, they have the mouse. But it is a horrible puppet.
It's played by Steve Buscemi in a suit.
It's like played by Fizzgig from The Dark Crystal.
Oh God,
it is awful.
Yeah,
people are like, I liked him. Paul Atreides is emo, and they're all right. You know?
Yeah,
our audience is right. We should just let them.
No, they're right. But I guess the problem is that, like, I wanted him to kind of start off as a little bit of a whiny kid, like a Luke Skywalker, you know, emo kid. But I want him to, like, in the part 2 or whatever, you know, where he becomes like the grand leader.
I never thought of Paul Atreides as being Harry Potter. That's all I'm saying.
The chosen one?
No, the sort of the arc of, you know, like nerdy little whiny kid to, you know, actual person you need to respect because of their power. That's all.
That's fair. I guess I kind of always did, but maybe that's just a natural bias that I have against royal or people raised rich.
only son of a rich man.
Yep. Anyway, I was blown away. I thought they did a really good job. I don't know that I've seen a couple of movies that are in the same tier for this year, but like this is as good as sci-fi gets these days. You know, it was really fun to see, and
I like Batista too.
Yeah,
not that he had to say a whole lot. What did he have?
That's probably the best thing, you know.
Right, exactly, like a paragraph worth of lines or something.
Yeah, like he didn't say a word in the Bond movie where he was a baddie. Remember? I mean, he said like one word.
Harkonnen was awesome, but they sure did lead into the Apocalypse Now Marlon Brando thing a little harder than maybe they needed to.
I kind of like the first reveal of him though.
Yeah,
where his hulking mass is just sitting in that steam bath, and he's, you know, he's not like a cartoon floating fat man. He's absolutely horrific.
Yeah,
you know?
He has gravitas.
Yeah.
But I just thought
anti-gravitas.
Yeah, anti-gravitas. Nicely done. You scored 3 points.
I do want to point out that Omblu in the channel said something at the very beginning about how Transformers could not be allowed in the University of Dune due to the Butlerian Jihad.
Oh no!
So it's like, okay, thank you, Omblu. That is absolutely accurate, and I I'm going to give that to you. So the Transformers universe is not combined with the Dune or Blade Runner universes, clearly.
Definitely not. Oddly enough, they are actually all synchronized up with the MCU and the Star Wars universe, as done by Patton Oswalt in Parks and Recreation.
That's right. I remember that.
And Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Weird.
The same universe, yeah.
Which is confusing because because Stallone was in both, and playing two characters in the same universe is really hard.
Yeah.
It's asking, well, maybe he's the same character in both. Stop or the mom. Can we? Oh, and he could be the shark too, so we could link in Suicide Squad.
So Shark Boy and Lava Girl is part of this universe too. Let's pull them all together.
And Captain Crunch.
Yes, and Chester the Cheetah.
Both the computer guy and the cereal mascot.
Oh God. So it's like super inappropriate cereal mascots.
Yep, all of them. It's not cool. All right. Does anybody got anything else on the table?
No, we're just treading water at this point.
All right. Well, we started treading water. It ain't no different. Gentlemen, I'll talk to you guys soon. Say goodbye to Chris DeBona.
Taco Zone.
Say goodbye to Rob Roseboom.
Later.
And I was Rob Commander Taco Malda. Maybe we're watching a movie tonight. I don't know. Bye.